Hey there, welcome to AbioticFactor, a game where you must survive and thrive in a Black Mesa-esque facility. Can I survive for 100 days or will I fall to the alien menace on the hardest difficulty? Let's start with how I was transferred here from the Springer facility. My colleague Lance drove me over to the Cascade Restricted Zone, where I would find an unassuming shack. Using the intercom, Jackson led me through and gave me my gate device. Essentially, it is an inbuilt Wikipedia that over time unredacts information.
Okay, you're the transfer, huh? You sure picked a day. Things a bit hectic downstairs this morning. Just grab your gate pal there. It'll help you get sorted. Sorted? Okay. Most of what you need should be in your gate pal. Well, eventually. But you're good to go. Head down to the elevator. It'll take you down to induction.
After that, I went down the stairs and met Tracy. She told me to put on a safety helmet and directed me to the elevator to induction.
But first, you need a hard hat.
Welcome to the GATE Cascade Research Facility. You are in the induction wing. The facility is currently at alert level precautionary. Please listen carefully to and follow all security instructions. Now arriving at staff processing.
After going down to induction, the security guard up on the balcony above was dead-ass staring at me and wouldn't start the induction without waving at him.
Hey, new transfer. I got pulled in from surface duty. The usual lady, she got called out to help downstairs. Happens. Chaos is kind of our thing around here. You seem a bit antsy. Just wait. I'll unlock the gate in a second. Now, I've never run someone through this, but it looks pretty straightforward. Coming from the Springer facility, you'll know the basics, but since we deal with specimens directly, everyone on staff has to know basic ECP. That's Emergency Containment Procedures. Okay, now I have some instructions here that aren't really compatible with the current security situation around here, so we're just gonna improvise a bit. Bear with me. I'm gonna have you crawl through that vent down there. Consider it like chasing down an escaped specimen. You got a big brain, you got a big imagination, right?
Of course, I did as I was told and crawled through the vents.
Oh, what the hell? This damn radio's acting up. There we go. Ugh, all morning. Alright, where were we? They want you to capture a creature. The lady who's supposed to do this, she took all the nets downstairs with her. Look around, maybe you can make one out of something.
Nuh-uh! No way! The nets? They took them? I'll make my own!
Oh, okay. I was just thinking I'd grab like a plastic bag for... You know what? This is why we do the jobs we do here at GATE. Go ahead and throw your fantastic net on the dummy. Nice! You've got some athleticism in there. Somewhere. Now, real creatures might wriggle out of that one, but that's not a real creature. So, next step is special containment, isolation, wash hands, inoculate. You know what? Just stomp on it.
I would rather not. There's rebar sticking out of this thing? Oh well.
Oh, brutal. Okay, so next up. What's going on with your leg there? Looks to me like you're bleeding. Look, we'll call this training, basic first aid. Find some cloth and make a bandage. And just keep this between us for now. I'll buy you a beer and res. Okay, you did that way cleaner than I would have. You would, wouldn't you? You're gonna fit right in down there.
Looks like you can walk on it all right. Let's head you on through to the next room. Feel free to mosey. I've gotta check some stuff out. We got some weird crap going on today, not gonna lie to you.
I find this hologram of someone named Derek Mance. He talks about some mumbo jumbo about cramming safe anomalies together too closely, and now one of them has turned blue. So I then check some emails, drink some water from a water cooler, and then of course break it, because why not? Bruce does his thing about complaining about his radio, so I do what I'm told and move the heater. He then tells me to go find someone called Dr. Khan in residences, but...
Attention. This is a high priority safety broadcast. You are currently en route to Residence Level 7. Due to an active security situation, advanced safety precautions are in effect. This elevator will be redirected to Offices Level 1. Please remain in place and wait for security team assistance.
Character selection. I am, of course, someone who likes blades and sharp things, so I choose to be a somatic astrologist, whatever that means, and took the negative traits of dry skin, hearty appetite, and painfully obvious. That leaves me with 18 points for positive traits. So I take decathlon competitor, wrinkly brain meat, hobbyist chef, weathered, and buff brainiac, leaving no extra points. Under my character summary, you can see my starting stats. Quite good. Day 1 starts with me leaving the elevator and finding someone called Dr. Thule.
I don't think we've met. Ah, you're stuck here too, eh? I came down from level 8 for a coffee. Now I'm locked in here for God knows how long. It'll be those fools on level 3 overreacting again. Looks like Jaeger's locked out. Typical. See if you can let him in. Maybe he knows what's happened. But take your time. He's insufferable.
I ignore what he says and look around in the bathrooms, and find a chef's hat in the janitor's closet. Afterwards, I head into the storage rooms tucked at the back of the cafeteria. Going through the third vent, I find even more vents. And eventually, after going through the correct one, I find some sort of fluorescent, which I of course, stomped the Xeno out of it. Ripping out its innards gave me something called a carbuncle, which looks like some sort of fetus. Ahead, I finally find my first enemy that looks very similar to the rebar I shoved up my foot in induction. Now, if I know anything about survival games, is that everything, and I mean everything, has a use, so you should take everything that's not nailed down. Leaving the vents, I find some metal pipes, which, in every survival game, seems useful. Oh, and more of those pests. I later find a computer, and after reading an email, I unlock the recipe for a shiv, which should tell you how important it is to not ignore these things. I then had a small kerfuffle with some more pests in the kitchen, and ignored the dead chef in the corner.
Hello? Over here. Oh, you're new. Looks like that little pest damaged the power system. Can you get someone to fix it? But hurry, would you? I'm not enjoying standing around out here. It was hours last time, and I don't feel safe at all.
I had to make a crafting bench and a power block to open the door. To do so, I had to recycle some old computer towers, but before letting Jaeger in, however, I made myself a tray shield, a makeshift backpack, and a cushioned chest plate.
You need to open the door now!
Man, shut your bitch ass.
Hurry!
thing I made those. With Jaeger now sleeping on the floor, I told Thule the good news.
Oh my god, what happened to Jaeger? He didn't deserve that. I mean, not really.
After leaving the cafeteria, I meet Warren, the security guard. He told me to leave through the main tunnel in manufacturing, which is going to take a while. Storage space quickly becomes a problem, so I figured out how to make these small storage crates, using my brain, of course. But I need plastic scrap to make them. In the meantime, I do place down these toolboxes as rudimentary storage. After clearing out a conference room, I find another hololog, which is what I'm going to call these hologram audio logs from now on, from Mance talking about the carbuncle. Apparently it's
an enduring, not entirely unpleasant smell on anything it touches.
And recommends making perfume out of them, which is strange, I would say. Making perfume out of Xeno scum! Afterwards, I take my first nap on a couch, which does not end the day. The first day is always the longest during new runs, strangely enough, so I figured that breaking office chairs has a chance of dropping plastic scrap. So, after dismantling all of them, I had enough for one small storage crate. I then felt confident enough exploring another area, and when I picked up some other materials, I unlocked the ability to make a makeshift crossbow. I also learned that I'm going to need an anvil to make a repair station. Packaging a filing cabinet and a lamppost, I could make a better chest plate and a makeshift spear. I figured storage space is going to be a big problem, so I package anything I come across for construction EXP, so that I have a higher chance of packaging a huge filing cabinet successfully. Entering the janitor's closet behind a reception desk, I find gas cowering in the corner, as well as a basic backpack which gave me 3 more inventory slots. Eventually, I find another water cooler and a long couch. Together they made me encumbered, which gave me strength experience. Later on, I would take advantage of this and grind out a couple levels of strength. Using the couch, I made myself a makeshift bed, which is slightly better than sleeping on just a couch. Sleeping on it set my spawn point to it. It's just like Minecraft! Continuing with the exploration, I find a flooded, electrified room, having to parkour off a bunch of furniture to get more loot. Among that loot, I find some 9mm bullets, which sounds promising. Above the room, I find Dr. Roberts. He talks a whole lot about something happening in Silo 3 and how they're hogging all of the power cells. Color me intrigued.
You couldn't get a single power cell after that. Now look. They're precious activerses. Totally out of control.
Jumping down into the neighboring room, I got my first huge filing cabinet, meaning my storage issues are no longer problematic. Getting home, I made a portable stove, making food no longer an issue. I then made myself a peccary helmet. It's quite good because it gives me cold resistance as well as 3 armor points. Not even a minute later, the PA announced that the day was going to end in an hour, so I took a flashlight with me and went to loot Biolab D. There I found tomato seeds, which would be useful for soups. Coming back home, the night fell upon me. The lights gradually turned off and the plugs no longer gave power. To remedy this, I planned to make a makeshift battery the next day, so that I could have access to the crafting table all time around. From 3 AM to 6 AM, all I did was loot the locker room next to the pool, but found nothing really important of note. So I then fully looted Biolabs D, aka the cupboards that I usually miss. There I found canned peas, which would serve as my emergency food. I also found another one of Mance's holologs. He talks about how the floor zits are in fact growing fetuses in them. Disgusting! Using a full water cooler, I leveled up my strength to level 2, sprinting to level 5, and strength again to level 3. This did take a little bit of time, so here's another time lapse, because I love time lapses. I then continue the hunt for magazines through the vents above the electric water room and find a hard hat, which could be a replacement to my peccary helmet if anything happens to it. Exiting the vent, I jump from some rails into a side hallway. There, I found a storage room with the anvil I needed. Right outside of that room, I came across Dr. Mayfield. She told me that the security robots that roam during the night hold valuable components in order to make a keycard hacker. Which sounds dangerous, but alright.
We could make something to hack the door. What do you think?
I rode the elevator back down, unlocking it and allowing me to freely travel to the executive offices. Coming home, I made myself a repair bench. It allows me to repair armor and weaponry without having to waste valuable duct tape. If you didn't know, you can repair everything except guns with duct tape. I continued looking around the executive offices, hoping to find more magazines to complete my makeshift armor set, and boy oh boy was that hope fulfilled. In what I can only assume is Dr. Mans's office, there's another hololog of him explaining that after some time, the loot and perforations respawn. So there goes the worry that eventually there will be nothing else to loot.
Fascinating is temporal tethering. Each entry to an antiverse seems to start a timer, which resets after a given period, as though a band of time stretches before snapping back to its origin. I'm confident we will understand this phenomenon in time, but until we do, it violates a dozen scientific principles.
Leaving the executive offices, I grinded straight to level 4 and made myself a complete set of makeshift armor. You see, in AbioticFactor, just like Terraria, there are set bonuses, and the set bonus of makeshift armor is an increase to carrying capacity by 30 pounds, kilograms, I don't know. The weight of the armor has also slightly affected my movement speed, as you can see on the left side of the screen. The debuff is barely noticeable, so it doesn't really matter. Some more looting later, and I find another one of Mance's holologs, explaining how the aliens grow so quickly and yada yada. Stuff that's not interesting. Anyways, after more xenoslaying, the PA system warned about the incoming night again, so I looted the most important things, checked all the emails, including the one about the WWE, and hurried home to grind another level of strength. I couldn't get another level of strength before the end of the night, however, so I made a battery for my crafting bench, and like I said, I can now use it during the night. After that, I made a makeshift crossbow to start whittling down the robots during the night for the keycard hacker components, as I correctly figured that a lot of time has been wasted. In order to even get to Silo 3, I made a power brick. Trying to get to the needed door, I went the wrong way, and met Grayson, the forklift operator. He gave me some important information about some military personnel shooting up the place. He said that they apparently needed information about the silos in level 3, and that they locked down manufacturing, saying that we could use the forklift to lift the door to manufacturing if we find a power cell. In order to get a power cell, we need to hack the door right next to Dr. Mayfield. You got that? I sure hope so.
If you can find a power cell, we can use the forklift to open the door. Get out of here through the surface tunnel.
Shut your fucking mouth!
Inserting the power brick to the silo door gave us access to Antiverse 2A, our first portal world. Jumping through it, I'm surrounded by flora and fauna. Just look for yourself. I find some antivirus wheat, which will be useful in creating healing syringes, and then I find my first truly dangerous entity. Not before crashing to my desktop, of course, but never mind that. Trying to get the jump on it. I know this thing wasn't alone in this place. There was another one patrolling, so I tried to get a jump on it again, but... I respawn and try to GET HIM! With it now clapped and chopped, I find another one of Manus' holologs with information he already told me, and go back to base. If you're wondering why there are now bubbles around me, it's because I get a buff for leaving any antiverse portal. This one slows down the rate at which I get thirsty. At home, I prepare for the night, making bullets for my crossbow and cooking up some food to fight one robot. And I mean, I only have enough night to fight one robot. Why? You'll see soon enough. I also make a garden plot in case I find anything else out there other than tomato seeds. At 16 o'clock, I feel the air is strange and to be on guard tonight. What that means is portals will appear nearby my crafting bench and spawn enemies, which you will see later on. They're called portal storms, which is a type of raid that can happen usually at night. Before the night came, I grinded strength to level 5. When the night came, the PA announced a biological incursion. But really, it's just a few pests that come through the cracks. Best way to deal with them is to kill them as quickly as possible so that they can overwhelm you. Not a second after finishing the biological incursion, I immediately took my crossbow and went robot hunting. As you can see, these robots have a lot of health, but getting close to them is not a good idea because they can stun lock you. I'll just speed this along for you real quick. Finally, I kept shooting the robot to the morning, which gave me a lot of soda and general materials which are useful. Most importantly is the fact that I got a security bot CPU which will allow me to build one of 3 parts of the keycard hacker. Hooray! The first part of which is made is the controller. All that remains now is the LCD screen and the infrared detector. Essentially, this is all that the office sector has to offer. All that is needed to be done was wait for 2 more nights so that I can get 2 more CPUs so that I can get the door that's next to Mayfield open. Presumably that's where I'll be able to get a power cell, and with that power cell I'll be able to move on to manufacturing West. But that's an entire 2 days from now. In fact, the entirety of the rest of day 4, 5, and 6 were spent on looting the offices for all they have. Literally nothing happened during the days of those days. So I'll go ahead and skip the days of those days. What you see right now is the nights of those days. And in those nights, I kill more robots. The upside of actually spending time on looting runs is that you can gain construction EXP quite quickly if you bother actually packaging everything you see. Plus, not having to go for looting runs for quite a long time. Finally, after 3 days of waiting for the night, I made the keycard hacker. Doing some self-maintenance, the first thing I did was sprint over to the executive offices to open silo door 3. Continuing on the path to Silo 3, I found a trail of blood leading around a corner, but I ignored it and went downstairs instead. Down the stairs, I found a hazmat suit, which almost completely protects me from radiation. There was also a terminal that said that the power cells were not sufficiently tested on before being used in the life cycle of those pests, and more complex than pedaled and taught, whatever, nobody cares. All that matters is that now I go upstairs.
Scientist, do not reignite the rift. There are abominations within. My brethren crossed over to seal your folly. Is the cost of your knowledge not already clear? If you will not stop yourself, we will.
Shut your fucking mouth!
Anyways, I reignited the rift and went through. There I found a place that was smothered in fog, boarded up windows and parked trucks, but no power cells in sight. Yet. Going through the back door of a store, I found the body of one of those other guys. Shame. Behind was something exuding that very fog, with blood splattered all over the floor. Seems like that guy had a run-in with that thing. Loitering around, I found some ice cream. Food really isn't a problem in AbioticFactor, so getting those debuffs at the beginning of the run is the type of debuff that Smoker from Project Zomboid is. You're wondering if I'm going to play Project Zomboid? No, I don't really like Project Zomboid. Going through a vent, I found Marion, some insano freako wearing God knows what.
You want out? Of course you want out. Like them, the giants. You are trapped here. But shut down the devices. Your devices. Remove the power cells. 1, 2, 3. You'll have your way out. But what then? When you've opened your door, what then? Your people would not open the way. But they are gone. And the Crusaders saw to that. So there's no one to stop you.
You heard the man. I'll be stuck here until I remove the 3 power cells powering up the place. So off I went, trying to avoid those giants walking around. Going into the town hall, I was greeted with nachos, which unlocked the ability to tame pests that came with the last Cosmic Companions update. Alas, I deconstructed 1 desk and got construction level 11, and my genius now knows no bounds. I did alert one of those things, sadly, and was surprised that it can, in fact, get inside buildings. Shame you couldn't hear me, though. It would have been magnificent. On the roof of the town hall, I, 1, found out that those things are called composers, 2, found the first power cell, meaning I can officially access manufacturing. But there are 2 more power cells left, and I don't want to leave without them. Taking the power cell, another portal opened, which led me to the arcade. There are some pretty cool posters around here, so I'll for sure be back for them later on. On the top floor, I found another one of Mance's holologs. It seems he was just theorizing about the composers and about how they sing. Picking the second power cell teleported me to the library, which was quite dark. There I was exposed to the consequences of having multiple radioactive power cells in my inventory, giving me the first stage of radiation sickness. But that's nothing that some iodine can't fix. Leaving the library with the composers in pursuit, it seems like I found a research station regarding the composers. Terminal number 347,982 says that the researchers were worried if the composers really were contained in this place. Another email was talking about what seems to be Marion. Mantis holologged and talked about stupid sciencey stuff about why this place was chosen to be researched. But going up the elevator, I was met with another composer. Okay, that's enough. Juking it led me to the last power cell and the exit out of Flat Hill. Finally! Feels good to be back home. Who are these people?
That was a very, very bad idea.
Just breathe, Abe. We'll get through this just fine.
It knows we're here, Janet. There's nothing holding it back. Flat Hill is open.
You'll have to forgive my colleague, Abe. He's had a bit of a shock. We tried to get out through Flat Hill, and, well, some people died. Then, some genius deactivated the composer containment system. So, clearly, we need to find another exit out of here. And that's looking like manufacturing west. I don't exactly enjoy the idea, but our options are limited.
Totally wasn't me who deactivated the containment system. Those Exor monks are just wandering around the executive zone, which aren't really a problem, but still harder enemies to deal with, are now wandering the facility. Getting home, the first thing I did was head on over to manufacturing to place that power cell.
Shut your fucking mouth!
Grayson kept moaning in my ear for some reason, but ignoring the dying man, I went into manufacturing west, hearing and seeing gunshots. But ignoring that, I carried on. Varsha, on the other hand.
They'll hear you. At first, I thought it was an accident. Those creatures everywhere. But then, these terrorists came, hunting us. Now I don't know what to believe. What do they want? If I can just get to the blacksmith, he'll know how to get out of here. He's wired into this whole sector, and his forge is a fortress, so he should be safe. I think. I'll open the door now, but I'm telling you, they're shooting at anything that moves. Be careful.
Filled me with so much confidence that I could take on the world. Someone was shooting at the construction crane, which I soon found out why.
Can anyone hear me? Oh, hey, I'm over here in the crane. The glass is bulletproof, but these guys don't know the meaning of give up. I keep hearing them talk some kind of code. Whatever, I figure the best thing I can do is distract them so they don't notice poor suckers like you. I'm guessing you're looking for a way out. But first thing those trigger-happy assholes did was lock down the crossroads. You could push straight through if you got the guts. Or you could get smart and work your way around them. Head for the garage. Try and touch base with the blacksmith. He ain't going anywhere. I know what I'd do.
How interesting. Shame I had to break both of my legs going down the ladder though. I found loads of seemingly useful items breaking the crates around here. Context clues, however, show me that these guys with guns are no joke. Never mind. Apparently they are a joke. Free backpack upgrade too. Night fell upon me as I was searching the area, which made this slightly more dangerous without being able to see things. Who would have guessed? I did, however, find a couple of armor upgrades, which slowed me down significantly, but I noticed that wearing heavy armor gives strength experience. While almost alerting a grunt, another one of Mance's holologs talking about how them pests are similar to early life on Earth. Sure, man. I guess, bro.
Adversary.
I guess those guys really are jokes. On day 8, I found the blacksmith. He talked something about someone called Frake, cowboys, and getting me to the surface tunnel. He did say something about needing to hack another door, which seems simple enough. I do have a keycard hacker now. He also says that he's a trader of things and unlocked the recipe for solder. Opening the door to the tram, I found actual poop in the trash can. Took it with me anyways. Riding the tram home, I met one of those guys. I'll call them pack rats because they sound like rats. After that, I logged off for about 3 months because I had exams, so I forgot to record a couple of minutes. Not to worry, all I did was make forged pauldrons. I then remembered that I left behind a gun in the office that needed a level 1 hacker. Have a gun! Yes! Gun! Going straight back to manufacturing, I picked up a pickaxe from a guy who said,
Must we become spies ourselves?
Picking up some steel wire, I unlocked the ability to make the forged chestplate, which is something I desperately need in order to survive in this area, as you'll see soon. Wandering onto a balcony, I come across a sniper, which is the bane of my existence, so I got the hell out of there. At home, I made a pipe pistol and a scrap shot shotgun and a heater shield. Not that kind of shield, a literal shield made out of a heater. Day 9, I was attacked by those guys with guns. They were, of course, easy to deal with, so I guess they really are just a joke. At least they provided twice the bullets they usually do, so now I had a surplus of 9mm bullets. You did see that blue arrow on my shotgun, right? That means I can upgrade it if I have an upgrade bench. So, in order to get an upgrade bench, I need an LCD screen and a controller. Without wasting any time, I went to kill another robot to start chipping away at the upgrade bench requirements. Going back into manufacturing, I looked around for steel wire, but came across another one of Mance's holologs. He just explains how something called the Dark Lens could make portals more stable and controllable, although he was rudely interrupted by another goon. See that room over there? Here's how I got there. As you can imagine, arterial bleeding from every pore in my body isn't exactly ideal, so that forge armor can't come any sooner. Attempt number 2 was much more successful, and instead of screwing around with crappy makeshift weaponry, I used my pistol. In that room, there was a terminal saying something about improved door security, another one about eating XOR hearts, and another one about some sort of thing called the Symphonist. As it turns out, that room I died trying to get into had 0 steel wire in it, so that's just great. So I looked around some shipping containers and found some steel wire. Not screwing around any longer, I quickly wrote back home to see what it took to make a better keycard hacker, as there are multiple doors that need a level 2 keycard hacker in order to fully access Manufacturing West. As it turns out, I needed a power cell, but I spent all of my power cells on scrap weapons. And there hasn't been a portal reset yet. That would mean I would have to find a power cell in manufacturing. And the one place that comes in mind is... yeah, that place. Before getting that power cell, I quickly destroyed another robot for its CPU, allowing me to make an enhancement bench. The enhancement bench does as its name says, it enhances weapons and armor. With this new bench, I attached a flashlight to my pistol and another flashlight to my scrap shot shotgun, as well as upgraded my screwdriver into a drill. And only after all of that, I went for that one power cell. As you can imagine, it didn't work out so well. As the saying goes, second time's the charm, and I made sure to use my pistol to kill the grunts hanging out in that room this time.
Gotcha, bitch. Fuck you.
After finally getting that one power cell, I quickly went back home to make a level 2 keycard hacker and a better helmet. I was finally able to access the rest of Manufacturing West. I first opened the door above the blacksmith trader, which led right back to the blacksmith, but I then opened the door in the break room. The first thing I came across was a smushed dead alien. Looks like someone got lucky. Going to the camp Kovac was talking about, the surface access tunnel was right next to it. Unsurprisingly, the Crusaders collapsed that very tunnel, but I did find a pack rat that was willing to work with me.
We are together in this petition. We came here to cleanse
suppress and protect, but this chaos is beyond our capacity to suppress. We are beset by demons from the depths of the mines, and that termagant Frake has holed herself up in the processing plant. I must warn my brethren, this course is impossible, but our engineers collapsed this tunnel to ensure no egress. We need another way to bring tidings of this terror to the tribunal. Frake is concealing the escape from us, I am sure of it. She hides in her fortress, letting us rot here. Elegance would annul me if I return, but I will find a way from this limbo. Frake's fortress is not impregnable. She knows the secrets of the sarcophagus, and she will be made to reveal them.
Searching the camp, I found a terminal belonging to the Legate. It seems someone in the facility was paid off to let the Legate storm manufacturing west, and ironically, one of their inquisitors defected to our side, which is likely that pack rat I just spoke to. Another terminal in an outcropping, this time belonging to GATE, says something about a train that, if stopped, will create an explosion the size of the moon. It seems like the team responsible for it are having trouble locating it in reality. Another email interchange between Abe and Janet was talking about a chunk of indestructible metal that grew in size about 0.1% a year. They said that they would have about 15,000 years before it was the size of the Earth, and another 50,000 before it was the size of the galaxy. Another email interchange was talking about how something huge went through a portal in the mines after the dark lens went offline. We'll for sure check it out later. Of course, wandering further around netted more of the same. Dangerous fights with Exor monks with Neo levels of dodging, but also more anti-wheat. I finally found the last component to the Forge Greaves, chains. Moving forward, I encountered a very useful enemy, not before making some upgrades for storage back at base, as I made myself a medium storage kit. Those invisible enemies can prove to be difficult to deal with for new players, but I've beaten this game twice already. So taking out all 3 crystals, I took their powder because later on it'll be very useful. Across the bridge was a check-in terminal, and next to it was another office. Inside the office was Mance's hololog detailing how the pests are similar to crabs because they evolved separately from Earth multiple times. I returned home once more to get the final piece of the Forge set. Now rocking a full Forge armor set, I had the heavy armor debuff once more. So I trained 2 more levels of strength to see if that helped. Unfortunately, it didn't. Day 12 started off with looking for Frake, and Frake was indeed found. She said that she sent her employees to get parts and yada yada. Go fix these 3 pipes. Ask the blacksmith for help. Another one of Mance's holologs was just blue-balling information about the Exors as per usual, so talking to the blacksmith unlocked the recipe for the tram key, but for the tram key I need the security bot CPU, so while waiting for the night I killed things. Open gates. Fortunately, I could already make one of the items that the blacksmith wants, so getting home I made a reinforced cable and a crowbar 2.0, which deals a whopping 75 damage plus whatever my sharp skill is at. Trading in the reinforced hose unlocked the recipe for a makeshift headlamp, so before the day ended I made a makeshift headlamp, just before the night raid happened. In reality, it was more like a food delivery event that yielded me a lot of meat. As the night went on, I didn't forget to kill another security robot, making the tram key. First thing in the morning, I went on over to that accursed train, killed some fools, and read an email about a very similar universe to our own, saying that the portal appeared in the furniture store in the middle of Boston. Another email was talking about the guy who needs coffee in his coffee hole, and another about an object that has an intensifying temporal anomaly the closer you get to it, saying that Dr. Varenkov touched it and was partially stuck to it for 20 minutes. Finally boarding the train, I saw a militant interrogating Dr. Hammond, who was fueling the train. We all know as well as him that if the train stops, there will be unforeseen consequences. The train, as expected, was taken over by terrorists, but the train held valuable items such as pocket watches, briefcases, silverware, and axle grease, which, when traded in with the blacksmith, gives me diodes, which is needed to fix one of the pumps. Scrapping the pocket watches gave me silver chains, with which I can make trinkets out of. The first of which I made was the crystalline vial, which recharges my items passively. I also made a potato trinket, which increases the item drop rates. Heading back to Frake's place, I repaired the red pump. All that remains to repair now is the yellow pump. I did notice that I had a big surplus of 9mm bullets, and it's just taking up too much space. And if things are going to get better around here, something has to change. That one guy is still stuck in the crane at the junction, so why not help him out and kill the terrorists at those bleeding crossroads? Because after all, many died crossing it. Not before dying to the X-Lore horde, though, of course. Getting my items back, I started my own crusade. Come over here. You wanna? Oh god. Ironically, right next to that outpost, I found Hank, who was just chilling in a hazmat suit right next to a terrorist base.
Because someone's got to.
Getting home, I realized getting a fridge would be ideal, especially if I'm going to be a cook. So picking up a fridge and dragging it back home, I installed it right next to the grill. The blacksmith wants solder for the fiber optic cables, so cooking the solder I traded the small gears I got from the watches for some reinforced hoses. With solder finally done, I traded one portion for the cables and fixed the final pump. Meeting Frake at the activation button, she told me to do the honors. And so, I did.
You surprised me. I had to come and see this for myself. You gonna do the honors? Oh my god! There's your exit! Nothing a micro black hole couldn't take care of! Now you can get into labs. We'll follow soon. But I'm not leaving any of my team behind. You could be useful. Try not to get yourself killed.
Janet, you always say my science is out of control. This project is different. I feel more in control than I've ever been.
Are you sure about this, Abe?
Finally heading into my favorite part of the game, labs, I saw Janet and Abe seemingly adding cybernetics to a pest, saying we're
fighting fire with fire.
Also, there is indestructible glass that gives you sharp melee EXP, as you can see on the top left.
Oh no, Janet.
Oh my god, it's loose.
Run, Janet.
Totally couldn't have seen that coming. The first oddity I found in the labs was the moving box. It sometimes picks up items off the ground and holds it in its inventory, which is something not really needed. To me at least. Moving forward, I see a containment unit labeled IS-91. It is of course no longer there. The terminal overlooking the unit explained that the containment names of each class, Jura, Solitus, Thala, Crucius, Sank, and Ordo. Jura being unaccessible, Solitus being uncontainable, Thala being extreme risk, Crucius being high risk, Sank being known and controlled, and Ordo being benign. Just like SCP containment breach all over again. One of Mantis' more useful holologs explained that IS-91 is some sort of ghost that phases through walls, doors, anything physical. It can, however, be deterred with X-rays, so if this thing ever comes after me, I'm going to have a big problem with it. Ahead was a bloodbath, as in there was a staging ground for the terrorists, and the terminal there said that the traitor was ready to remove the dark lens. As expected, I found more containment cells further up ahead. There I found our favorite Thule complaining as per usual.
Familiar? Oh, it's you. I came through the hole some maniac blasted in manufacturing. Obviously, I was planning on getting through the vacuum chamber to the surface elevator, but it's covered in some muck. Typical. I suppose they'll have something to deal with that in the containment block, but the place is completely locked down. It never ends. I really need a coffee.
Going up a ramp, I found the dark lens site and Newman yammering on about it and hammering in the fact that there was a traitor.
You know what this is, don't you? The dark lens. The core of our perforation research. Or it was. I'd heard rumors of a threat. There are always rumors. But this is insane. They killed everyone, then removed the lens. Without it, how are we supposed to control the portals? They could appear anywhere, connect to anything. Do they realize what they've done?
Janet and Abe were standing around in the wildlife habitat corridors. They said that we needed to get into the containment block in order to move forward. Behind them both lied another office with another one of Mance's holologs. In short, he discussed the ethics of certain research questions that may come up. As the day went on, I, 1, looted capacitors from the electro-pests, and 2, was attacked by the infamous IS-091. It supposedly stops following me after I looked at it. Sound advice because it works. I also encountered a new goon, the shotgunner. You heard that? Me too. I don't know what made that sound, but I've never heard it before in my 2 playthroughs of this game. So I just ignored it and kept doing the usual housework. Concerningly, I found a lab mask that prevents spore infections. I know what that means, but you, viewer, don't. Just keep watching. During the night, I was attacked by more foul X-Source Xeno scum, but for once, the security robot actually did his job and went on to kill them. Nice, and I didn't even have to get my hands dirty. Now if I'm gonna get into the inner containment zone, I'm going to need a level 3 keycard hacker to move on. In order to do that, I need to get into the adjustment wing, which will prove to be difficult. I'll just take it anyways. So we're dealing with guys that have lasers. One of them... Oh god, he's too far away. I have to headshot this guy in order to get it one shot. One shot, one kill. Oh. It actually takes time to travel. That's a shame. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Missed me. That's right. This one can't actually run. Can't actually teleport, so him bleeding out on his own would be slightly better. He is gone. What the hell is this guy doing? The fuck is this guy actually doing? Got him. I guess not. The terminal on the reception desk talked about the Layak essence, a missing anomaly, and eyeball seeds. Another one of these damned holologs of a man's meat riding the dark lens. No, so from now on, if I come across any more of these holologs and they're not important, I won't even mention them. Same thing will apply to emails. I found some bees in this lobby area of the adjustment wing. Will not be touching that with a 10-foot pole yet. I found some of the antennae of those Symphonist or sing-songers, or whatever they're called. Man's actually coming up with an interesting theory about how it seems they're a hive of sorts. When those things are cut off, they lose that link to the hive. Die already. God. What is that sound? I heard it again. Finding IS-10 in the hands of a curled-up scientist, it unlocked some trinket that could be crafted. Nearby up some ladders, there was a room that allowed the exchanging of antiverse wheat for antiverse crystals. They unlocked the recipe for a quantum glass, which is one of the components needed for that level 3 keycard hacker. All that remains now is to unlock the recipe for the memory brick, which won't be so difficult either. However, the room was absolutely surrounded by mouth-breathing Xeno scumbags that needed putting down. I'm looking around. I found the perfect robot to do the job. There you go, big boy, deal with it. Ah, there we go. You fucked up. Shouldn't have done that. Dumbass. Fucking aliens. He is not dying. The next day, with my gladiatorial spirit quenched, looting around, Mance and his favorite old holologs actually delivered some news that could be useful. He described an entity that could shapeshift into anything or anyone, and is incredibly manipulative, so if anyone fits this here description, I ought to keep an eye on him. In the next room over, Dr. Pendleton, the one who was theorizing over nothing about the XOR, was sitting in the corner, and of course talking to her gave me Dick Diddley. How kind! Getting home, I was no longer bound by the stagnant water from the pre-containment breach coolers as I made the one and only water filter. Water sitting in those things for 17 days straight just sounds awful. Can't imagine the amount of microplastics peeling off the inside of those jugs. Now, whenever I need water, I could just walk up to a fountain and get water straight from there. It's instant, it's fresh, it's everything you could possibly want, and it can be yours for only $3.99. Get yours quick for a limited time only. While trying to figure out how to make a projection matrix, I made myself a water filter. Making a lamp burner, I unlocked the recipe for chemistry benches, them being a part of the newest update. That and the possibility to tame pets. As the game explained, in order to distill items, I need to use organic items. Following Oblivion's logic of potion crafting, potatoes should give extra defense, and tomatoes should be able to make you see through walls. Right? Right? On the night of day 18, I reinforced my crafting bench and made a portal suppression field, denying a portal storm raid at the cost of Xeno scum! I'll kill you! Don't mind me, I'm doing my part in stopping the alien invasion. Are you doing your part? I also collected some alien parts for the distillation table, just to see what it would make. As expected, it made something called alien distillation, and so I put it in the chemistry table. While going for the antiverse wheat crystal machine, I saw a containment bot stuff a soldier into a room, which is pretty funny. Liquidizing the crystal, I unlocked the recipe for the projection matrix, memory brick by extension, the lightning spear, and the charged shield, which is a medium shield compared to the heater shield, which is just a measly light shield. On day 19, while getting a power cell for the charge shield, I was met by a symphonist. Ironically enough, I saw this thing on my first playthrough. Nonetheless, I finally got what I needed for a shield and spear upgrade. Now what was needed was a couple of jailbroken CPUs, which can be obtained by destroying the containment robots. It was pretty spooky dealing with a running robot, but fortunately for me, the robot needs to stand still to actually land an attack. When the whole ordeal was over, I made a level 3 keycard hacker, but the good work is not over yet. I still need one more jailbroken CPU if I'm gonna make a personal teleporter. Without wasting any time, I gathered what I needed and made a personal teleporter on the night of day 20. This bad boy will save me a lot of time, unlike the amount of time I spent actually making this thing. Now, pipe guns are great and all, but the ammo needed for them is very paper intensive. So I bit the bullet and made a computation brick and traded it in for a light gun repair kit. As the day started, fog from Flat Hill rolled in. This is a part of the weather system that can happen in the facility. These weather events usually last for the whole day, but they can be cut short if you go to the respective stations. However, sometimes new things spawn in the fog, including rare entities that usually fight the Xeno scum roaming around the area. I wanted to be extra prepared for the inner containment unit, so I upgraded my gun into something actually respectable looking, aka the Auto 10. Not wanting to go into the inner containment unit with all this fog, I went ahead to disable it, but as expected, as Symphonist was roaming around the elevator. Killing him will net some valuable resources, so...
Shit. What the fuck? Why me of all people? Ow, that actually did a lot of damage. Shit. Missed me with that shit.
Picking up its remains unlocked the Maestro armor set. I of course got cornered by another Symphonist, so not wanting to deal with these bleeding things anymore, I disabled the fog. Finally, getting into the inner containment unit was easy. But that's all, folks! Now, Of course, this isn't 100 days, but I've decided to split it into 5 parts. So, until next time, I'll see you later.